how can you bring that sacredness back in? The only way is to remember it in yourself. And how do you remember it in yourself? How do you remember your sacredness? Sometimes it is important to read inspirational material. Somebody who remembers when you have forgotten. And then you read it and you go, oh, of course, I remember that. I remember when I knew that and I forgot that. It's okay to look for inspiration from others when your inspiration gets weak. You may have just recently been through something very, very difficult. And your hope and your faith and your remembrance of who you really are inside, that beautiful soul of light and love, is just shut down. It's like the door is shut and it's dark. That is when you pick up the tools of inspiration from others, the books, the lectures, the music, poetry. You allow yourself to be in that place and are willing and able to ask for help. But first you have to have the awareness, oh, I really feel like I'm in a dark place. Because if you don't have that awareness, you're not really going to want to turn on the light. So how can you get that awareness? How can you really have that self-reflection of, I used to be more patient, I used to be more hopeful, I used to be more kind, or whatever it was, and how can you bring that back in so that you know that you can get back on the track, back in that rhythm of your soul. So the rhythm of the soul, for some, the pace is very different. For others, it's more like this. It's very steady. And for others, it's just a very faint. But each of them is perfect. What is your rhythm? Are you going against your own natural rhythm? Because it doesn't matter what anybody else's rhythm is. What matters is that you're in tune to your rhythm. If you're wired to go at a very fast pace and you force yourself to move very, very slowly, it blocks your energy, it blocks your creativity, it blocks your flow. And if you're wired to move very, very slowly and you're pushing yourself in a 60-hour-a-week job, it blocks your flow. It blocks your life force. So it's really about learning, who am I? And who am I beyond all that I think I am? Because as you get older, you give up your job title, you give up the physical beingness. If you had a very strong, buff body, naturally, the body changes, the skin loosens. There's a softening that happens. So you give that up. You give up your role as parent. You give up your different place in the world. Who are you left with? Who is that? That is sustained through it all. That is present. That is your soul. That is the vibration of your being. And that is what we want you to learn, to get in touch with. And it happens through the breath. On earth. Of course, when you're out of your body, you don't have to worry about this process of breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. It's actually a very fundamental process. But it's most important because without the breath, are you here? No. Without the breath, you are not here. This is why people who come very, very close to the edge of death, or who have quickly crossed over and come back, they remember each breath. And if you've ever sat in the room with someone who's breathing, and at the end, there's that very different type of breath. It's the breath of death. It's sort of a shudder. It's sort of a hollow, empty breath. It's very strong though, and in that there's spirit, but it's the body letting go of the final holding to this body, this personality, and moving into that expression of the divine, of spirit, which is what each of you are. So we are